The Stoic way to balance ambition with inner peace. We live in a world that glorifies ambition. Work harder, run faster, climb higher. We are told that life is a race and that our worth is measured by how far ahead we finish. Yet if ambition is the fire that drives us, why do so many who make it feel empty inside? Why do countless successful people confess at the peak of their careers that something is still missing? The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, saw this danger long before our modern age. They didn't reject ambition, they didn't tell us to stop striving, but they warned us, ambition without wisdom becomes a master that enslaves us, not a tool that frees us. So today, let us explore the Stoic way to balance ambition with inner peace. How the Stoics pursued greatness without being consumed by it. How they strove for excellence without losing themselves. And how you too can chase your dreams while keeping your soul unbroken. The fire of ambition. Ambition is natural. It is the desire to grow, to improve, to build, to contribute. Without ambition, no empire would have risen, no art would have been created, no progress achieved. The Stoics did not despise ambition. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. Seneca advised emperors. Epictetus became a teacher whose words echoed for centuries. Each was ambitious in their own way. But here lies the paradox. Ambition, left unchecked, turns from fire into wildfire. It consumes not just obstacles, but the one who carries it. Seneca warned, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Ambition without limits is hunger without end. You reach one goal only to feel restless for another. You achieve success only to fear losing it. You win applause only to crave louder claps. The Stoics saw ambition as a double-edged sword. One side sharpens your virtue, drives you to excellence, and builds your courage. The other slices your peace, enslaves you to desires, and makes you a prisoner of success. So the question is not, should I be ambitious? The question is, how do I carry ambition without being carried away by it? Marcus Aurelius, ambition with humility. Marcus Aurelius was perhaps the most ambitious Stoic of all, an emperor tasked with ruling the most powerful empire in the world. He commanded armies, managed politics, and oversaw the vast Roman state. Yet, in his private writings, what we know today as meditations, he constantly reminded himself not to let ambition become arrogance. He wrote, "Do not waste the remainder of your life in thoughts about others, how they think, what they say, what they do. Instead, confine yourself to the limits of your own mind." Marcus lived surrounded by flattery, power, and temptation, but he practiced restraint. He stripped ambition of vanity and redirected it toward virtue. To him, true ambition was not to be admired by others, but to live in accordance with reason, justice, and duty. Not to be remembered as great, but to live greatly in the present moment. Imagine that. The Emperor of Rome reminding himself, very little is needed for a happy life. This was the Stoic genius, ambition rooted not in ego, but in service. Seneca, wealth without chains. Seneca lived a different life. Unlike Marcus, he was not born to power, but he rose to great wealth and influence as an advisor to Nero. Seneca had access to riches, estates, libraries, and pleasures, yet he constantly reminded himself, wealth is not freedom unless you master it. He practiced what he called voluntary discomfort. For days at a time,
He would wear the roughest clothes, eat the plainest food, and sleep on the hardest floor. Then he would ask himself, is this what I feared? By rehearsing poverty, Seneca stripped wealth of its power to frighten him. If he could be content with little, then wealth could never enslave him. Here lies a Stoic lesson for ambition. Pursue wealth if you wish, but never let it own you. Because the man who depends on riches for happiness will always be poor, even when his vaults overflow. Epictetus, freedom through discipline. Epictetus was born into slavery. He had no possessions, no status, no freedom, not even freedom over his own body, which was crippled by a cruel master. And yet Epictetus became one of the freest men in history. How? Because he discovered that true freedom is not the absence of chains, but the mastery of the self. He taught his students, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Ambition to Epictetus was dangerous when it aimed at what lies outside our control, fame, fortune, approval, or luck. But ambition aimed at self-mastery, discipline, virtue, courage, wisdom, was unshakable. No emperor could take that from him. No misfortune could strip it away. That was his secret. Ambition redirected inward becomes invincible strength. The why ambition alone destroys us. The Stoics understood a truth we often forget. Ambition over 100 years is not strength, it is slavery. 1. Ambition breeds endless craving. Like drinking salt water, the more you taste, the thirstier you become. 2. Ambition enslaves you to opinion. You begin to live not for yourself, but for the applause of others. 3. Ambition robs peace. The higher you climb, the more you fear falling. The more you possess, the more you fear loss. And so ambition without wisdom is not progress, it is a trap. But ambition with Stoic balance becomes fuel for greatness, without the cost of your soul. The Stoic formula for balancing ambition and peace. The Stoics gave us a way to harness ambition while guarding inner peace. It rests on 3 principles. 1. Aim at virtue, not vanity. Make excellence your goal, not applause. Strive to be good, not to be seen as great. 2. Detach from outcomes. Control your actions, not the results. Work hard, but let go of what lies beyond your power. 3. Practice simplicity. Train yourself to live with little. That way, success becomes a gift, not a necessity. Let's dive deeper into how we can practice this today. Practical Stoic practices for modern ambition. 1. Daily reflection. Like Marcus Aurelius, keep a journal. Each night ask, did I act with virtue today? Did I let ambition cloud my peace? What can I improve tomorrow? This habit grounds ambition in self-awareness, not ego. 2. Voluntary discomfort. Like Seneca, practice living simply, even if just for a day. Eat plain meals, turn off luxuries, walk instead of driving. This reminds you, happiness does not depend on excess. 3. Focus on control. Like Epictetus, separate what you can control from what you cannot. Ambition rooted in what others think will enslave you. Ambition rooted in your own discipline will set you free. 4. Redefine success. Ask yourself, is success wealth or is it wisdom? Is it applause or is it character? Is it recognition or is it peace? When you redefine success, ambition shifts from chasing shadows to building substance. The modern disease of hustle culture. Our world today glorifies endless ambition. Hustle harder, sleep less, work 16-hour days, sacrifice peace for progress. But what is the cost? Burnout, anxiety, broken relationships, a restless soul. The Stoics would look at our hustle culture and say, "You are climbing ladders that lean against the wrong wall." Ambition is not the enemy, but ambition without wisdom is self-destruction disguised as success. True Stoic ambition means working hard, yes, but never at the expense of virtue, peace, or freedom. Ambition in relationships. The Stoics also warned us, ambition does not only tempt us with wealth or status, it tempts us in relationships too. We seek to be admired, to be loved, to be envied. We measure our worth by comparison. But Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Be
content with what you are, and wish not to be elsewhere." Ambition in relationships creates jealousy, control, and insecurity. But when we apply Stoic wisdom, we shift ambition from being loved to being loving, from seeking admiration to cultivating character. The Stoic asks not, "How many people praise me?" but, "Am I someone worth respecting?" The lesson of nature. The Stoics often turn to nature for perspective. A tree grows not by striving to be taller than others, but by following its own roots. The sun shines not to outdo the stars, but because it is its nature to shine. The river flows not to be praised, but because that is its way. In the same way, our ambition must align with our nature, our character, our values, our virtues. Ambition against nature leads to chaos. Ambition in harmony with nature leads to peace. Stoic exercises for ambition and peace. 1. The ambition audit. Write down your top 3 goals. Then ask, are these driven by vanity or by virtue? Do they serve my ego or do they serve others? 2. The last day test. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of death. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would this ambition matter? 3. The circle of control. List your ambitions, then divide them. Which are within my control and which are not? Let go of the second list. 4. The gratitude shift. Begin each morning with 3 things you already have that are enough. Gratitude is the antidote to restless ambition.
Ambition and time, the Stoic view of mortality. The Stoics reminded us constantly that life is short. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." What does this mean for ambition? It means that our goals must be weighed against the reality of time. You can strive endlessly for wealth, recognition, or power, but death does not wait for you to finish your to-do list. Ambition that ignores mortality becomes a cruel illusion, chasing a finish line you will never reach. Seneca wrote an entire essay called On the Shortness of Life, where he warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." To the Stoics, ambition must be checked against the brevity of life. Ask yourself, will this goal matter on my deathbed? Am I pursuing things that truly enrich my soul, or only things that impress others? If my time is cut short tomorrow, would I regret spending my days this way? This is where Stoicism sharpens ambition. Ambition that ignores death is blind. Ambition that remembers death is focused. When you know that life is temporary, you no longer waste time climbing ladders that lean against the wrong wall. You stop pursuing empty status. You stop running after applause. Instead, you turn your ambition toward what lasts beyond death: virtue, love, service, and wisdom. The Stoics teach us that mortality is not a reason to abandon ambition. It is a reason to purify it. Ambition for the common good. Stoicism beyond the self. One of the greatest Stoic insights is this: life is not about you alone. Marcus Aurelius often wrote that human beings are made for cooperation, like hands or feet working together. Man, he said, is born for deeds of kindness. So what does this mean for ambition? It means that our goals must be weighed against the reality of time. You can strive endlessly for wealth, recognition, or power, but death does not wait for you to finish your to-do list. Ambition that ignores mortality becomes a cruel illusion. Seneca wrote an entire essay called On the Shortness of Life, where he warned, "No man can live happily who regards himself alone." The Stoics teach that the highest form of ambition is not personal glory, but contribution, not to shine brighter than others, but to be a light for others. Think of Marcus Aurelius. His ambition was not only to rule, but to rule justly. Think of Epictetus. His ambition was not to be famous, but to free souls through philosophy. Think of Seneca. Though surrounded by wealth, his writings aimed to guide generations beyond his own. So, ask yourself, does my ambition uplift only me, or does it serve others too? Am I chasing success to be admired or to make life better for those around me? Does my drive end with me, or does it ripple outward into the world? The Stoics knew that ambition tied only to self is fragile, but ambition that serves the common good becomes unshakable. Because even if fortune strips away your wealth or power, your contribution to others endures. This is the Stoic transformation. Ambition becomes not a hunger for personal gain, but a fire that warms the whole community.
The balance of the Stoic life. The Stoics were not against ambition. They were against ambition without wisdom. Marcus Aurelius carried the burden of empire, but sought peace in simplicity. Seneca lived with wealth, but trained himself to live without it. Epictetus owned nothing, yet was richer in freedom than kings. Each shows us a different path to the same truth. Ambition must serve virtue, not enslave it. Ambition is a fire. If you master it, it cooks your food, warms your home, and gives you strength. If you fail to master it, it burns your house down. The Stoics teach us not to extinguish ambition, but to discipline it, to let it drive us toward courage, wisdom, justice, and self-mastery, to work hard, but not to be owned by work, to pursue success, but not to sacrifice peace, to live simply so that ambition remains a tool, not a tyrant. So ask yourself, is your ambition serving you, or are you serving it? Does your drive bring peace or restlessness? Have you mastered the fire, or is it consuming you? Because in the end, the Stoics remind us, the greatest ambition is not to rule others,
but to rule yourself. If this lesson on Stoic ambition inspired you, remember, wisdom is only wisdom when practiced. So reflect daily, train simplicity, let ambition serve virtue, and protect your peace at all costs. If you found value in this message, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom every week on resilience, peace, and the art of living well. Stay strong, stay simple, stay free, and may your ambition always serve your soul, not enslave it.